Warning, the following communications are not authorized. Please disable your signals and report to your local re-education center immediately. Failure to comply will result in immediate reprimand and capital punishment.
Let's go, Brandon. Let's go, Brandon. Eric Butler, TatumReport.com, me, my team from RebelNews.com, and this is Unauthorized Opinions. Eric, you guys got McDonald's Monopoly where you are?
I don't eat that poison, man. I have no idea what
it's getting serious. All right, we're so close. We're close to a four person trip to Orlando. We're close to a tool package, close to a Chevy or Buick Enclave or something like that. We're like one piece away from like 4 different things. So McDonald's every day.
I think if the Monopoly thing was happening, I would at least know. But I don't know. I don't even have cable, so it could very well be happening. I'm more of an In-N-Out guy.
Well, I'm not exactly seeing McDonald's commercials on TV. I have streaming services.
All right. I don't know what they're doing with the Monopoly thing, dude. I wish you luck, though. Best of luck.
Thank you. I hope to win $1 kajillion. They don't even have the $1 million prize anymore. There was an explanation of it, and it was 1 in like $300 million or 300 million chance that you would win $1 million. And they compare that to the lottery here, which is like 126 million. So they're like more than 10 times fewer chances of you winning. So, and it's $2 to buy a lottery ticket here. So they're really making really smart marketing moves down there at McDonald's. I wish them the best in the future of their company.
Do you get like a chance for $1 million if you get the poke? You know, those are the games you got to be playing.
I think the only thing that happened in Alberta was a lottery for 100,000 or something like that. It wasn't as big as the American ones by any means. Did anyone win those? Is the question.
I was
the COVID lotteries.
I was very skeptical about that from the very beginning because of course they can say you have a chance, but nobody could actually win, and you've just been tricked into getting the juice. But whatever, dude. I'm not playing any of those games, man. It's a mess we got on our hands right now.
Ancient astronaut theorists say it could have been aliens that changed the pyramids.
Exactly.
Let's Go Brandon is finally at number 1, and now if people are confused, it's not just number 1 on the rap charts, which it was in the top 5 there. They had 3 of them. The Loza Alexander, I think his name was number 1 for a few days. And now the Bryson Gray version is number 1. I'm not sure about the hip hop charts. I know they were all there in the hip hop charts, but this is in general, like the general charts. They're above Adele. They're above Drake. They're above like Cardi B and all this other crap. And everyone, they're ahead of the mainstream music without any airplay anywhere. I was saying yesterday, I can't turn on the radio on my way to work in the morning and hear Let's Go Brandon on Virgin Radio. So, and I'm guessing there's no BET or MTV coverage of it either. But there should be because it's better than a lot of those songs. We did it, Bryson says, from banned on YouTube to passing Adele in the iTunes chart to become the number 1 song in the country. Stop being afraid of censorship. Stop being afraid to stay canceled. Stand up. And then there's the proof above Adele. And there's Lowe's Alexander there. He was number 1, charting $1.29. Unbelievable. I believe Bryson's is $1. You can't really see there. Ed Shivers. I don't know who Walker Hayes is. Do you?
Nope.
Well, get in line then. So what does this say about this, Eric? I mean, anything could be memed into the stratosphere these days. Do you think this isn't the first time they've been atop, though? Bryson's album, something with the lion, Heart of a Lion, I think, something like that. That was at like number 15 on the regular charts, hit number 1 on the hip hop charts. What do you think this means?
It obviously shows that we are not the minority. I was having this conversation just the other day, and I've said it before, the media works in 2 ways. Obviously, they are able to trick stupid people into believing fake things, but they're also able to trick common sense people into believing we are the minority when that is just not true. This is proof of it. Just the chant itself, before it turned into a song, the chant itself was proof of that. With all the people, with everybody in the mainstream media, all the celebrities, all Hollywood, all claiming that Donald Trump was the big, mean, orange racist, we didn't get two solid months of giant sporting events chanting F Donald Trump. Now, they could go to the Women's March and wear pussy hats and all sorts of things like that. And that was happening, but it just didn't feel genuine. All of those, to me personally, all of those produced Hollywood mainstream media anti-Trump things were all phony, for lack of a better term. These are genuine. Even if it has just become a meme, it stems from a kernel of truth. All the hatred for Trump stemmed from basically a fake Russian dossier and something that Hillary Clinton put out there. It was never
rape
real
claims and everything.
Yeah, the P tapes and all sorts of stuff, all completely fake. This people can feel, and I think the In-N-Out story is a huge. In New York and California, but I want to point to the In-N-Out story specifically here because that is going to wake people up. Now, I don't know if you've been to California recently or the last time you've been there, but Californians take In-N-Out Burger pretty seriously, and that's going to cut across.
What's the story there? Because I'm not too familiar. Not requiring vaccine? Yeah,
so the Department of Health in San Francisco shut down a Fisherman's Wharf. What is this one? Oh, so this looks like maybe an opinion about the. Anyways, the Department of Health in San Francisco temporarily shut down an In-N-Out Burger on Fisherman's Wharf because they were caught not asking indoor diners for proof of the shots.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. So, and now let's keep in mind, and I know I beat this dead horse probably every week, but London Breed is the mayor of that city, and she is corrupt beyond. I mean, this woman literally paid $23,000 as reparations for ethics violations that run all the way back to like 2012. So think about that. That's what she's willing to admit that she did was wrong. And do we think that's the end of her misdeeds? I highly doubt it. She's the same one that said she was feeling the spirit, so she didn't want to wear her mask. She's the same one that went to the French Laundry the night after Gavin Newsom was caught there. And this woman is now telling the San Franciscans that they can't, and tourists alike, of course. I think tourists are scared to go to San Francisco as they are in New York as well, because the street crime, the car break-ins and stuff are through the roof. But she's telling people that you can't eat an In-N-Out burger while she's just paid $23,000 in ethics violations. So the point I want to make is that type of stuff will cut across political lines, and to keep in, to go with the running theme here, I hope that this will wake some stupid people up.
The thing about the Let's Go Brandon songs is, so Bryson's got banned from YouTube. We think it's because he used the word plandemic. I don't know if that's going to get us banned. Probably not, because most of our viewers are on Twitter. But the Loza Alexander guy, which is his is on the left, it's more of just like, a typical rap song, but about Let's Go Brandon. It's like F Joe Biden, all this stuff like that. It's not really, he's just sitting in front of a green screen, where Brandon's has real production value. He's always got I don't know if it's his wife or whomever it does that does their camera work. I've seen the behind the scenes photo. It's a legit like camera work they're doing. But
Bryson could actually rap. He's a good rapper.
His songs are good. Like, I listen to him on the regular. Same with Patriot J, because like that's when people remember that song lock that bitch up. The first like pro-Trump, anti-Hillary song that came out. It wasn't very good. It was funny, but like the political rap like 4 years ago was not very good. And I was like, somebody's gonna do this, and it's gonna be good. Once it's actual good music, then it's gonna be good. And Bryson, and to another extent Anomaly, Patriot J, a lot of these guys, and now Forgiato Blow, hit or miss. He's got the third song that was on the charts. It's good. Like, it's legitimately good rap. And a few weeks ago, I sent one of his songs to my friend, my coworker, writer Dave, and he's just like, this is such an odd subgenre of music. It's like political, Christian, pro-Trump rap, and it's good.
Yeah.
And that's the thing about Bryson's songs, is they don't contain any cursing. Now, they'll say like the word like homo and stuff like that.
That's not cursing.
It's not, though. and he literally sticks to the Bible. He raps with the Bible. So it's interesting it's interesting, but not really surprising, I guess, that they want to ban him. But sometimes I'll just go on Instagram and see Bryson's live, and I'll just be like, who is Bryson yelling at today? And you just click on it, and he's just like, bro, you don't know about the Bible. You're not reading this properly. I don't even know where you're coming off with that. And one time I said that he curses, and he got really mad at me because he doesn't. And it was funny. I think it was on this live stream. I said that he curses, and he's like, I don't curse.
And was it on your show, or I saw some clip of Bryson where he basically was talking about kind of like his quote unquote past life, where he was like, a regular kind of like just like a regular rapper, like drugging and thugging type of like, degenerate stuff. And I think that's why he's so good at it, is because he came from it's one thing if you come out and you're trying to be like, from the very get-go, you're like, okay, I'm a Christian, I'm this, I'm that, you're going to put yourself in a box. But he kind of already did that. He sort of knows
grew
the
out formula, of it. It seems like.
Exactly. And even the beats, like even the beat with his Let's Go Brandon song is like, it has like, it could, well, obviously it's number 1 on the iTunes chart now. So it is obvious, it's hugely popular, but that could just as well have gone the complete opposite way and been like a degenerate song about, about hoes and pimping and guns, and he does rap about guns in the song. So
he raps about a lot of guns.
Yeah, well, he likes guns, which I can,
He's got another song with this guy named Kelvin J that I had never heard of. I think this is the song I said. Yeah, MAGA Gang, that song.
Oh yeah, that's a little older, right?
Yeah, this is the song I sent my friend, and he's like, "This is such an odd subgenre." And it's odd because it's so good. Like, he's always got like the Hodge twins were there, and then the Let's Go Brandy's got Biden. But like this song where it's just like the South, and like this guy, he's really cool. Like what world would you have imagined this in? You've got 2 black guys who are really good rappers just being pro-Trump and like mentioning Christianity and God several times in a song with no swearing, and it's like, this song has gone to number 1 in the year 2021. A song mocking Joe Biden, but with the words "Let's Go Brandon," will go to number 1, smashing Adele and Ed Sheeran off the charts, and it will be banned for saying medical misinformation.
Dude, you're right. Like, this is quite the timeline that we're in, and
yes.
It's really inexplicable. I mean, even down to the recent memes of, so we were doing Let's Go Brandon for 2 months maybe already, and then just when that sort of starts to lose steam, Bryson takes it to the top of the charts. But in the event that goes by the wayside, Joe Biden did a town hall, which will give us a whole new set of memes.
The Beavis and Butthead memes?
Yeah, the Beavis and Butthead.
He stands there like this for like 30 seconds.
Yeah, he got the Rock'em Sock'em robot like on the like. It's so bizarre. So no matter what happens, we're gonna have memes. We live in a meme world now. I mean, we're quite literally this country. I mean, you guys are not, free from this either with Trudeau, but we're literally jokes now. Like the joke's on us. Like everything that happens is completely insane. So it's par for the course. It makes sense. I said, yeah, what is he doing, dude?
This one isn't a very funny meme, but like he stood there for like a minute. It was weird. Like he's just locked in. It's really weird.
It's bizarre.
Bryson might be the most banned. Like when I interviewed him on my show, I looked up people who were banned from Spotify. They banned one other person's song for like a week and then got it reinstated. They don't ban R. Kelly stuff. They have a warning or something on R. Kelly stuff, but they don't ban him for the crimes that he's committed. I don't want to misspeak and get sued, but the crimes he's been convicted of, they don't ban him. And they're banning the song they banned with Patriot J, what was that song again?
With the song with Bryson and Patriot J?
Yeah.
I forget the name of it, but it was coming up. Whoever, I don't know, Bryson or Patriot J or whoever,
Safe Space?
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah.
They put a lot of money into the advertising campaign because I was seeing it. I was seeing the video run in its entirety on YouTube as an ad. So 4 minutes or whatever it was.
600,000 views isn't a joke. I'd imagine it'd be well over 1 million now if it wasn't banned. But
And
here's this
I just
guy,
want to
3.1 million views for this guy.
wow.
And it's not as good of a song, and it's not as good as production quality. As you can see, it's him in front of his green screen, just flipping.
It has more meme quality than like actual. Which I mean, no shade. I'm not taking away
Yeah,
from.
I don't
it,
have
like,
a problem with him at all.
but it's just
saying
it's more meme quality than actual music quality. And can I just say, this has weighed on me for quite some time. I mentioned it a long time ago. It is now back. But this kid Pooh Shiesty, okay? Are you familiar? This
I know
rapper,
of him.
He's a young kid. I think he's 21 or 22 years old. He's from Memphis, Tennessee. He is now pleading guilty to I don't know exactly what the charges are. Don't sue me, but he shot at somebody multiple times. See, hotel shooting. And what's really funny about this is if you read some other publications, most notably Rolling Stone, who are huge purveyors
just happens to be linked right here.
See, hotel confrontation. Now, a confrontation is much different from a shooting, okay? And the point I want to make here is that this man made a song about shooting up a nightclub. They put his face on billboards in Times Square. This thing got the biggest push.
Shot a man in the buttocks.
Yes. And he was the second most popular artist for basically the entire first half of this year, right behind Drake. This man had the entire machine behind him. I'm talking Times Square. When I was road tripping, I would hear him in almost every city we stopped in, literally just playing out of cars driving down the road on Bourbon Street in New Orleans. Kids are partying to this one song called Back in Blood. It's an awful song. It's about murder and theft. And he is now pleading guilty to something that he basically rapped about doing, and he will not be banned from YouTube. I mean,
yeah, it's interesting because, YouTube's going to ban people for anything. They really want to control the culture there. But Spotify banned the one song. You don't see Apple doing it. You don't see Amazon doing it. You don't see Netflix doing it. Hopefully, to God, they won't ban Dave Chappelle. It makes them so much money. But
which I did watch, by the way.
Yeah, so did I. And once they open that can of worms of we're banning this song because it's harmful, well, then all of a sudden Eminem's Kim comes roaring in, and then you don't want to upset Eminem. His song about killing and burying his wife. Yeah. And you've got all these. Then you got Big Pimpin'. Then you got Make It Clap. You got I'm throwing out derogatory lyrics here, and they don't want to have to answer these questions because they want people like this Pooh Shiesty guy to be able to be on the front, even though he shot a guy in the ass. And in that same Bryson Gray interview I had with him, he showed me this music video. We talked about it, where it's a new genre. It's been happening, he said, for like 10 years, where they make fun of people that are their friends that are dead. Like they make fun of their enemies' friends that are dead. And one of them has the guy laying on the guy's graves in the music video. I'm like, this is the most hardcore stuff I've ever seen. Oh my God, I gotta have to find that just because the visuals of it are so ridiculous. That was the problem. And I see a lot of people coming out now and supporting Bryson, and it's good and everything. But it's like, where were you? And I hope he notices the difference. Maybe I'm just more vengeful than he is because I'm not a Christian like he is. I hope that he notices like all these people coming out of the woodworks now. Like, yes, let's go, Brandon. How dare you ban him? Where were you 3 months ago when he was the first person to be banned off of Spotify of like any sort of note? Like, where were you when that happened? Oh, it didn't take down Joe Biden, so you didn't really care. So I hope he notices the difference there, because I certainly do. I'm paying attention.
This now we know that hypocrisy and double standards are obviously par for the course, but this is just through the roof. I mean, this is on a completely different level. I would venture to say that there are people who don't even know too much about hip hop, who can really barely even decipher some of the lyrics, at this rapid fire rate that they're speaking. But YouTube went through, I assume they went through manually. I don't think this was I could be wrong. I'm not an AI expert, but I don't think this was like
you are.
The software came through and scanned the whole song and caught Bryson saying the word pandemic and got it. No, somebody went in there and said, we need to get rid of this guy. And they threw this is crossing the line too, because you can say one thing about, say, a commentator, Mark Dice, or somebody who's agitating the establishment with facts, just sitting at his laptop, just commentating. But it's another thing when you're starting to ban like actual, for lack of a better term, artistic expression. Now you've crossed over into an entirely different ballgame, and this is not good. This is not good.
Well, just to speculate, I don't think it would be hard at all for them to type in "Let's Go Brandon" into their back-end search and see like what are the top 20, 50 videos about it, and be like, let's see if we can find something, because this is mean. This is bullying. It would have made more sense if they tried to pull it down for bullying, because like obviously you're not giving medical information on a song, but like the song where Snoop Dogg shoots Trump in the head is allowed. Like, let it all be allowed. I found the clip from Bryson. We'll have the audio here, so we'll have to pull it off before we get the echo. But let's just play this, and it'll show the video where that guy is laying on Buddy's grave. I'm new to this strain of rap, so let's show this part from your live stream, producer Justin, and then I want you to explain to people, because it's at first it's really hard to understand.
This will discuss you, but just watch.
He's laying on their graves.
Listen to what he just said. He ain't been the same since he's seen them other three die. He's referring to Ace, this guy. The three died is the people that he's laying on. This is their grave sites. And he just smiled at the pictures of dead children. Not children, they're like probably 16, 18. Listen, he's smiling as he's laying on a picture of three dead black men laying on their grave site and saying he hasn't been the same since these three kids died, because he doesn't like the three people that died, so he's mocking their death.
Now, Bryson, now it's pretty funny that it's like Bryson explaining rap to white people, which is exactly what happened in our episode there. But yeah, this guy, the brazenness of this music video where you're just laying on the graves of three guys that have been killed, and you're saying, yeah, that guy hasn't been the same since his friend dies. That's funny. Ha ha ha. Like this is allowed on YouTube.
Yes.
Literally. And we can all remember Bobby Shmurda, who got convicted for explaining his crimes in his songs.
Yep.
And people love him.
People love him. They praise him. He
exactly.
comes out of jail. They love it. And can I just say really quick that it's it's also a little disturbing how when he says, oh, they're not kids, they're like 16, 18. All right, I guess technically they're not kids, but 16 and 18, especially in 2020, 2021, that's nothing. Like these kids are so young. Like I think even the generation before me, right? Like people were, they were married at 22 and had 5 kids by 28. And obviously things have slowed down. So the fact that this is still like, these kids are so young, bro. Like even Pooh Shiesty right now I believe he's 21. He might be 22 years old, but the prosecutors want to bring up charges that he got when he was 11 and 14.
That's insane. See, the problem is, and I think the reason Bryson said that is because when you're in gang culture, you get mature pretty fast, I'd imagine, when you're in a gang. But 11 is insanely young. Like, I believe the criminal intent age in Canada is 12. So you can't be convicted of murder under the age of 12, something like that. I don't know what it is in the States.
So he could have skated on the one when he was 11, but then by the time he was 14, you should know better.
So if you're starting a gang, only recruit 11-year-old. No, I should say that.
Now you're getting banned.
Let's sidestep a little bit to Kanye, which is a little bit less murderous and a little more ridiculous. I don't want to be taken down by TMZ, so we'll see how much of this. Probably shouldn't play the audio. So here's Kanye in a ski mask that he wore recently. And then this one.
And that was wait. Can you go back just for a second? Because I want to make a point too about the jackets, because that's his Gap collaboration, right? That's the
really
Yeezy round jacket with Gap. But then if you go to the next photo, it's the Balenciaga. Now we will recall.
Oh, I went too far. Okay.
We will recall that Balenciaga has been called racist only a couple months ago, just before I left South Dakota, because they made sweatpants with boxers built in, and people called it racist. These were $2,000 sweatpants by Balenciaga, and I think it's funny because they were so quick to call it racist without, I think, realizing that Kanye is like literally best friends with the main guy from Balenciaga. That's a side note, but this is also very strange.
Remember his jacket with the Confederate flag on it?
Of course, the Yeezus tour.
Yeah,
Yes.
Our producer Efron from Rebel, he's a Dominican. There he is getting arrested with a cool meme of himself. He wears the Kanye Confederate flag Yeezus jacket all the time, and I just hope that it like confuses people to no end that see this brown, whatever skin color you want to call him, Dominican guy wearing this, and they're just like, wait a minute, he's a white supremacist. Something happened to our cameraman Mocha the other day too in Montreal. Some guy calling him alt-right while he's doing a report with our French / native reporter Alexa. The far right isn't welcome here. You have this tall, thin Michael Jackson looking kid who's from Turkey, and you're calling him like alt-right essentially. But here's the other one. He looks like an orc, which I love. I can't stop laughing at this. The fact that he like, does he come up with this in a second? Does he plan it for months? Like, there's no way of knowing. Is it even him? Like,
was it a Halloween?
How do they
thing?
know? How do they know though? Like,
thing?
how do they know that's Kanye? Like, does he come out and he's like, I'm going to be here? Or do they go up and talk to him?
I those are all good questions. I don't know. It is hilarious though. Just looking
This
at
one.
Oh yeah, because he was having lunch or brunch or whatever with Michael Cohen. And
He looks like Eminem.
Now, again,
Could be an
and
Eminem
it's
mask.
also hilarious that he's got the sunglasses on top of the mask.
Yes.
So, and the hat. So he put the mask on, and then the glasses and the hat on top of the mask. Now, obviously I'm a huge Kanye fan, but is this A, is it a Halloween thing? Is it B, to throw off the paparazzi, which obviously has not worked? Or C, just a purely bizarre...
Is that not? It's almost.
It looks just like it. It does.
He's got the Illuminati.
Well, the jacket too. The jacket is very similar, so it makes it like works together.
Just put this on screen long enough for people to see.
I do not. At first, I thought it was just like a Halloween thing. Like, I don't know if you remember. I think last year, or it might have been 2 years ago now, where him and Kim and their kids did like this whole elaborate. Now, I think Kanye is actually a big fan of Halloween. He had he dressed up as like they had these huge. I'm not. I actually hate Halloween. I think it traumatized me as a kid or something. But
wow, what happened? Who invited you into their house for candy? Is what I want to know.
Well, I think it was
traumatized you.
No, I think it was actually just. Dude, it happened twice actually. When I was a kid. When I was a kid, I hated it. And then when I got to college, I hated it more because I don't know if you know, but Halloween in San Francisco's Castro district is extreme. And I made the mistake of going there, and I did not like the crowd at all. They were very forward. They were very
Is it
pushy.
Clowns, Eric? Do you have clown PTSD?
Clowns is definitely part of it. Actually, if we're going personal, a clown was actually one of my first memories, and it scared the crap out of me when I was, I think, 3 or 4 years old. So it's all tied in together, especially considering my birthday is kind of close to Halloween. So neither here nor there. I don't understand. I don't know what to make of these masks, but like I said, I thought it was a Halloween thing at first, and then it kind of kept going, but Halloween still hasn't passed yet. I don't know if he's going to do it again. He has since been seen without any type of mask at this. I don't know if it was a UFC fight or an MMA fight or something in Atlanta the other night. So I don't really know what's happening. Maybe it's just a publicity stunt. Maybe Donda just didn't sell enough copies, so he has to get back in the news. I don't know.
When I was a kid, we literally had a guy on our street that would bring all the kids in the neighborhood down to his basement to get popsicles, and I'm not kidding, out of a big freezer. And it turned out my parents didn't even know about this. Now, I was not molested. I don't know if anyone else was, but we literally had an old man on our street who invited all the neighborhood kids down to his basement. And I distinctly remember getting banana popsicles out of his freezer in the basement with a bunch of other kids. Fast forward like a year later, we had a clown at somebody's birthday party. Didn't like him. Wasn't afraid of him. Just didn't like him. Didn't like the way he looked.
Yeah, I don't think.
It's funny too.
Dude, I don't know what to make of this. I don't want to. I don't think we should play their audio either. But I am.
No.
Maybe I'll watch that at a later date because I am curious to know. Like, did you watch the clip? Do you know what they are making of it? The big brains over at TMZ.
They're just saying that they think the grungy Australian guy, whomever he was saying that it's his favorite Kanye thing to date. There's Kim Kardashian. The thing is, like, who even knows if it's them? Like, they could literally just get somebody who's the same body type as them. Is anyone going to notice? Unless they talk to them, I guess. I would hope they would go through with it. But I thought they were divorced. There's all three of them. I think I like this one.
I
Between
like
these two.
I like the alien one on the right, like, because the one in the middle actually does kind of when he was sitting at the table with Michael Cohen, they actually kind of almost look alike. But when you put it next to the Eminem, he kind of looks like that too. So I don't know.
Yeah, okay, that's a girl. Never know in California. There was an Australian guy in here somewhere who loved it.
With the guy with the long hair, right?
Yeah.
Like I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Oh my goodness, what a time to be alive. Something else Eric sent me was about Jack Dorsey warning about inflation. Did you have something you wanted to say about that, or are we just going to be mesmerized by his beard?
Well, I think just the talking point on this one is that Twitter CEO Jack Dorsey is literally one of the main henchmen for the left, right? He's the one who got rid of Trump. He's the one who takes down tweets that say, Rachel Levine is a man. You can't say that. So he's literally like outside of Antifa and BLM, he is like the number one henchman for the left. And for him to come out and say, this inflation thing is going to be a problem
That's a bad sign.
It's a bad sign. Exactly. Now we all know
Let's see what it says.
We know it already is a problem. I think it's a short little article too. It's not too much to it.
Comes after consumer price inflation rebounded in the wake of disruptions to the supply chain. That, of course, the Biden administration says, oh, we just got so much stuff that, it's hard for us to buy. I asked, I'm just getting cut off here. I asked Bryson if he wanted to join to talk about it. He says, I'm in Arizona about to perform. Oh. Do you want me to come on? I'm just going to say next Sunday. Don't worry about it.
Wait, he's in Arizona. I should go see him.
Yeah, exactly. I told you he's performing at some point. Yeah, I bet you did. But okay, so yeah, the Democrats and Biden administration saying, "Oh, it's because people are buying so many things." Meanwhile, in Florida, they're like, "You got stuff you want to sell? Bring it to Florida," because we're not. Want to know why, Eric? The main, and I'll see if I can look this up. The main port for intake in Los Angeles in California is operated by who? China, if you didn't know. That's owned by China. They let China buy the ports, the main port.
I did not know that.
Is China going to cooperate and be like, oh, let's not screw everybody over? Of course they're going to screw everybody over. China owns Port California.
That makes sense, though, because Gavin Newsom is in their pocket. I think there was you remember that mask deal that kind of went under the radar where Gavin Newsom bought however many $2 billion or $1 billion worth of masks from China right before he forced all the Californians to wear masks.
This is 2018. It might have changed. Who knows? Don't listen to me. You should listen to me, but still. Recent weeks, so this is 2018, but it did have an article of U.S. forces China out of Long Beach Port Terminal. So terminal ownership. 2019. It's probably not a good idea for the country you're fighting in a trade war to control one of your ports. Situation because of Costco. Yeah, if you've ever seen a bunch of sea cans with Costco on it, it's not the big company from America. That's Costco.
Oh, Costco.
Yes, that's China. Trump battled them, it sounds like. That's the company that operates Long Beach Terminal. Yes, the company shares the same name as the terminal rather than the oil using the Orient Overseas moniker. Let's see. Didn't get much press, probably because it's generally thought of as a dull topic of international shipping. We're talking about the Trump administration obviously didn't like the idea of Chinese government controlling the operations of America's one most important ports. Let's just find out who owns Long Beach Port. Who owns Long Beach Port? Because what if they took it back under Biden?
I highly doubt that. I mean,
Is China the Obama administration? Okay, we're not going to get some accurate information there. Department of the City of Long Beach, second busiest container port in the United States after the Port of Los Angeles, which it joins, acting as a major gateway for U.S. and Asian trade. Bum, bum, bum. Does it say who owns it?
Well, Wikipedia is obviously...
Yeah, but I would still hope that it shows who owns it. Present 2019 Costco Shipping owned Orient Overseas announced that it would sell the Long Beach container terminal business to consumer led by whomever this is for $1.8 billion. The federal government demanded the sale of the terminal after 2018 review by Donald Trump, we'll just say. Decision by the 2020 California Public Utilities Commission allowed building a fuel cell plant at the port to move ahead. Okay, so let's see who this Macquarie Group is. So it's Australia that now owns it.
Wow.
So
no, this is all.
I don't trust that to not be China as well, though. It's Australia. They're basically China 2. Australia has taken over Canada in the race for China 2. We're China 3 up here in Canada. But
so we must be. Are we? I mean, we're definitely China as well. I mean, everybody's China now.
I'm trying to look if there's anyone else that owns them. Key people: Peter Warren, Chairman; Shamara, Australian. Maybe it is Australian. Maybe I'm just I'm so skeptical of everything, Eric. We just gotta dive. See, what I learned is that they just want you to click on it. They don't expect you to click on it. They expect you to allow cookies. So if you just click on it and say no, that's all you have to do.
I just usually click the X. I don't say yes or no. Typically, I just click the X and make it go away. But they're going to get me anyways. I look for a little bit of furniture for my new place, and then I'm bombarded with ads for the foreseeable future about couches and throw pillows, and it is annoying.
Calgary and Toronto. They've got local teams in Canada. So it's just weird to me that you allow foreign companies to own your port, your second biggest port in the country. That seems like a bad idea. Because what if your agreements are not the same as the other countries' agreements? What if they're just like, well, China, put some stuff in our shipping containers, we'll bring it over to you and get it sold for you. Obviously, it wasn't a good idea that China own it, and Trump put a stop to it smartly. But they're still being backed up, so I don't know. It's confusing. Why do you know why everything's backed up in LA and it's not in Florida?
No, I have no idea, but I am under the impression that even long before Joe Biden, before Donald Trump, that we were basically a bargaining chip with China. Like, we've been sold out under decades of corrupt politicians, and they can spin it however they want. But we were basically sold to China for profit, and Trump kind of exposed it a little bit more. Trump kind of, tried to put his foot down more so than previous presidents. But there's no stopping the Chinese machine, and I don't know. I mean, look at what's happening with the NBA. Even like they've been, they literally.
Oh, we lost Eric for a second. I think he's about to say. See how quickly I jump in there? I think he was about to say about the guy Enes Kanter in the NBA talking about freeing Tibet. Now, I'm not up to date on Tibet as I am sort of like on Hong Kong, but it's very interesting to see the NBA, they're constantly kowtowing to China. They're constantly looking for social justice initiatives, which is really weird. At the same time, they're like oppression and victimization in America, but China, let's not insult them because they might get offended. So while we're getting Eric back, I want to show Eric. I was about to show.
Sorry, lost you there.
It's okay. I was just saying. I was going to get to this Avi video, but we can in a second. About to talk about how China. I mean, the NBA allows all this stuff about China, but they care so much about the American social justice sphere. But everything that happens in China, they don't want anyone to talk about it. And this latest thing with this Enes Kanter guy, I'm not sure if he still plays for the Celtics, but he did, talking about free Tibet. And that's angering people. The whole Houston Rockets thing, They went on an apology tour like no other. Is that what
Yep.
you were getting at, basically?
Yep, exactly. And it goes beyond that, right? I mean, even when some kid, not even an NBA player, but some kids in the crowd brought free Hong Kong signs, and they didn't let that
Took it
go.
out.
They couldn't. They wouldn't let them customize the jersey, so you couldn't say free Hong Kong on the jersey. I think they did backtrack on that, but that's just a microcosm, like a small scale example of what's happening on a larger scale. I mean, I'm not as one famous congresswoman once said, I'm not an expert on geopolitics, so I don't really know, but it just seems that way from where I'm sitting.
Who said that?
AOC, remember? It was one of her.
Does the AOC have a lisp?
It was one of her. I don't know.
She doesn't sound like a sassy gay guy from the 80s.
In that particular one she did, she was clearly embarrassed. She wasn't expecting a follow-up question from that lady. I'm sure you've seen it. If you pulled it up, you'd be like, oh, I remember this one. It was one of her early interviews.
Have you seen the thing where she's talking about how she calls Bernie and she seems either drunk or like she's in love with him?
Yep. And she's a creep, dude. She's a scam artist to the full. She's a puppet. I mean, quite literally. I mean, was it Occupy Democrats or Justice Democrats that like cast her?
Justice Democrats, and they had the guy writing her script or writing her policy for her, and ever since he left her, she has proposed a zero policy because she doesn't know how to write, probably.
Yes, I talk with Bernie on the phone a decent amount, not just because we're colleagues, but he's legitimately my friend and makes me happy.
Ugh.
I mean, maybe to her that's like cute, but it's just weird.
I'm speechless. She's.
Let's watch Avi Yemini almost get in a fight with some guy who looks like Voldemort. He's bald. He's pathetic. So what happens here is Avi's just walking by to cover a protest, and some people at a restaurant outside start yelling at him. And you'll notice some of the weird insults they try to say. It's just people standing by. They say, go get vaccinated, and they swear at this girl, and she's just like, I am. And then she's like, okay, F off.
Wait, okay, so please remind me, though, because I am not... I take in way too much information every day, but please remind me what part of Australia Avi's in.
He's in the worst Victoria, Australia. Yes, which is, they call them states in Australia, which is weird because they use metric system for everything, and they have premiers instead of governors, but they have states instead of provinces. So he's in the state of Victoria, Australia. And yeah, we're about to get into, it's just hilarious. Graphic language.
24 nurses and teachers marched around the vicinity of Parliament to protest mandatory vaccinations. And yes, I was there to cover the march for Rebel News. The small rally marched past a bunch of outdoor diners, mostly without incident. A couple of drunk patrons here and there abused the protesters, which I caught. The report is still to come. However, as I walked past one outdoor dining area, a man on a table pointed at me and began to swear.
What is that?
So I walked up to his table to give him a chance to tell the world why he thinks it's okay to swear at a journalist walking past doing his job. As I approached the table, a woman from the table next to them decided to join the abuse.
Hey, listen. Get the jab, fuck off!
Why are you assuming I don't have the jab?
I don't think I want to talk to you.
She's screaming at me.
Can you please go? Because I want to enjoy my dinner.
She looks like she wants to chat. Let me be crystal clear. I would not interrupt people enjoying what little freedoms they have, even if we're politically opposed or whatever. But the moment you begin shouting at me as I'm walking past doing my job, you bet I will absolutely approach you to show the world who and what you are. And you don't get to order me to F off at that point. You can explain yourself or apologize, because sitting in an outside dining area is not a license to abuse people passing by just because you don't like them. if I walk past you and you scream stuff, don't expect me. No, I like it here. I feel like I like it here.
No way.
So why's your missus screaming out if she doesn't? It looks like she wants attention.
אני אגיד לך גם כדבר אחד, כן? אף אחד לא שם זין עליך, אז תעוף. בסדר? לא רוצה לדבר איתך, אתה מבין כשאני מסתכל עליך ואני רואה בן אדם נוכל ומגעיל. אתה מבין את זה? אז תעוף.
Why are you so close to me? There's social distancing.
You have the jab, you cunt. I do, I have the jab.
What did you just call her? What did you just call her?
Mate, we're trying to enjoy a lovely meal.
What did you call her?
Fully vaccinated.
Why did you call her?
How dare he?
Don't worry about it, here you go.
Don't touch me, man.
I just did.
Don't touch me. Don't touch me. Don't touch me.
Let's just pause it here for a second. That guy, and I hope
That's
there's
Avi
no echo in
security.
here. Oh yeah, the guy, we'll get to that, gets better. But these guys, like, you're 3 adult men and you're insulting a girl and telling her, go get vaccinated. Okay, you are? Then fuck off. Like, oh, we're trying to enjoy a meal here, a fully vaccinated meal. Like, this is what you have as a man, is to brag about being vaccinated. This is your, like, talking point. Somebody is shit talking you and you're like, we're fully vaccinated, okay, over here, buddy. Let's not just leave us alone, please. And then they're swearing at chicks, and obviously the guy doesn't want to repeat what he said, because I'd have to admit, all week, it's Monday in Australia now, but all weekend I'm sure this guy's social media was blowing up. When I checked this one, it was like an hour after this was posted on Avi's channel, had more than 50,000 views. So that's not counting his Rumble channel. That's not counting Rebel News Rumble channel. That's not counting Rebel News' YouTube channel. That's not counting the Facebook channels, which do huge numbers too. Don't sleep on that. Facebook Rebel News is gigantic. I went on the other day and checked out some of my videos that I had no idea had like 150,000 views. I'm like, all right, Facebook. I'm like, all right, Facebook. I guess people do watch stuff on there. But like, what kind of man is this, Eric? What kind of men are these? And you're going to see in a second that they're so desperate to call the police. And you know, these guys are the same ones who are like, the police are oppressive, but not for the reasons that we think in Australia, where they're beating people, but probably like Black Lives Matter police are oppressive.
Well, they're trained. They have been trained, right? I mean, but I don't know what the Australian equivalent, maybe ABC or something, to CNN or MSNBC. I mean, they've clearly been trained, and you could tell even by the way that they recognize them. They say, "Oh, that's the, like, you know, I know this guy from alt-right media, from, you know, whatever. Like, I have been trained to hate this guy, and I'm gonna lash out." And we know, like, we can tell that is probably the case, because as soon as, just like he said, it was like, okay, well, let's talk about it. Then they don't want to talk about it anymore. So they go into the just, for lack of a better term, just like they can't. And this is really sad, because we're not talking about a 20-year-old college girl. These are clearly adults who have been brainwashed into oblivion. Sad.
So 30-year-old men who basically act like teenagers, like Antifa teenagers. Now, in America, there's Fleckus, there's Elon, there's Will Witt, there's Elijah Schaefer, there's these Drew Hernandezes, there's all these guys who are known reporters. In Australia, there's Avi, and there's one other guy named Rukshan. Rukshan, I don't know his last name, but him and Avi dominate all like the protest vids, all the non-mainstream media, all the corporate media coverage. They're the opposite to that. They're the only ones. So literally, like, everybody knows who he is. So these guys were probably just like, yeah, we're going to swear at him and he's going to keep walking and we're going to feel cool. Little did they know that they're going to be made fools of. And now this other guy, watch how this other guy, the bald guy, just keeps getting in Buddy's face and keeps getting wrecked. But he's still acting like, one, that it's not his fault, and two, like he's a tough guy in the situation. So let's get back to it, because it gets even better.
Touch me. Get back. What are you going to fucking do?
Don't touch.
I won't touch you either. I'm standing in public. Stay back. Whoa. Stay back.
Mate, you raised the hand. You raised the hand.
Stay back.
You raised your hand.
Touch me again, you fucking
Stay back out of our space.
Get the fuck out of my space, you fucking piece of shit.
Let's just enjoy the night.
You fucking cunt.
What?
Let's go. Look at you. You fucking right-wing cunt. You fucking happy? This is what you say that's a good thing to do? Look at you.
You're gonna pick on the girl. You're gonna pick on her.
Pick whatever I want, you fucking piece of shit.
All right, bro.
What do you? Look at me.
You like to pick fights.
Mate, what are you even coming for?
I'm interviewing. There's a protest,
What are you
mate.
interviewing
What are
me
you
for?
doing here?
What am I doing? I'm fucking having dinner here,
Yeah,
you
she
fucking
was screaming
idiot.
at me, mate.
Really?
She was
Because
screaming
did anyone want to talk to you at all?
Your missus
Did
was
anyone want
screaming
to
at
talk
me.
to you at all?
All right, mate, you're so
Did anyone want
the
to talk
virus,
to
the
you?
virus.
Shut the fuck up. Stand back. Fucking hit me again, mate.
Stand back.
Fucking hit me again.
Stand back.
Hit me again, you fucking cunt.
Stand back. You
Hit
are
me
not
again.
You are not to touch him.
And what are you to touch me? Who the
You are
fuck
not
are
to
you
touch
to touch
him.
me?
You are not to touch him. Keep your distance. Keep your distance.
I'm sending you to fucking
Keep your
He
distance.
didn't do anything. He didn't do anything.
All right, I don't want to give it completely away. There's another part to it that we can talk about, but like, see this guy, he's being pushed, and he's still like, touch me again, as if he's gonna do something.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm wondering. Like, does he? Okay, I don't know the full situation, but it looks like that man is Avi's security guard. That is his job.
Yeah.
That is what he's paid to do. And if that guy thinks, now again, I also don't know all the ins and outs of Australia, but I'm pretty sure that he doesn't have a gun. So
No, he does not. And obviously he knows the rules where it's like, this is my space here. If you get too close, I'm going to push you out of it. And like, they're so concerned about him being vaccinated that they're willing to like stand a centimeter away, an inch away from him. And then they're both picking on this girl who you'll see her story later in the video if you watch it, where she was like, I was literally just walking by and I decided to film this with my camera.
And he kind of, just to bring it full circle, he kind of looks like the Kanye mask, the bald guy. Like, it's kind of like, there's a little resemblance there. So bizarre
his name is
times.
Rum. His name is Rum, which is hilarious. So this is the last stuff we'll show you. There's still like, I skipped ahead, so there's still another 4-5 minutes left in the video for you guys that should go watch it. He says this guy comes out on Facebook and he lies. He says, I was being bullied, shoved and antagonized by a mob of cowards. You were shoved by one guy. No one was antagonizing you. It was you. Avi
Which
and
is,
his
we have it in 4K. Like, we can watch it happen.
Avi and his unlicensed security guard, lie, complete lie, unlicensed, are going to be charged with aggravated assault. Okay, you can say somebody's going to be charged. Patrons have made statements on both his and his mob's conduct. Again, there's no mob there. There was him and the bodyguard. There's people watching, of course.
Now, does
But
he
then
think that there was no camera? We can see it, bro. We saw it.
I don't know. That's what I was talking about with my friends, my girlfriend and my friend, and we were watching it yesterday, and I'm just like, is he just trained by the media to be like, get the first thing out, even if it's a lie, and like people will believe the first thing? Or is he just trying to be cool on social media? Here's what I think he's going to get in trouble. Now, I have no idea. This came out yesterday, so I have no idea if legal action or anything, but Avi says in the video that this didn't happen. This guy says, the bald guy says, well, he's been charged and arrested for aggravated assault. Avi said that didn't happen. Posted bail and apparently already broke bail. Avi said that didn't happen. He'll be losing his security license. Apparently none of that is true at all. So this guy, apparently the Patriots, getter.com, ban.video, apparently none of this happened. So this guy's just going on Facebook and he's changed his photo, I think, since the last post. No, okay, it's the same photo. He's going on Facebook, Eric, and he's literally just trying to cool guy it. That's what we call it in my circle. He's just doing a cool guy where he's just like, you know what? People are going to see this, so I better get out ahead of this and get some PR in here. And he's just like, he's lost his license. He's unlicensed. So how is he unlicensed, but then he's also lost his license? And he got arrested. He posted bail, then violated his bail. I don't know. He kidnapped the school children. He murdered 3 people. Like, he's just going on saying anything he can because deep down he knows he looks like an asshole, just like those other 3 guys. What are you doing? What are you bugging us for? Buddy, your wife gave him the finger and started yelling at him. The 3 other guys. And then you could see them in the background. I can bring it back up where they're like, yeah, there they are. Desperately in the background calling the police here. I'll put it back on. There's the woman waving the police down, and these guys, there's the one guy. So they're so tough and they're so awesome that they're waving the police down and being like, please help us, police. help us vaccinated folks. They've been so coddled. And of course, the police know Avi, but I won't tell you what happens next. You have to go watch the rest.
Now,
He
is
talks
the
about those
system-
Facebook posts, and he interviews the woman who's being yelled at.
Now, is this because in the States, I feel like we're dealing with a two-tier justice system, right? I mean, I always bring up the example of me being arrested for protesting the lockdown versus the George Floyd protesters who were able to camp out at the very same location at City Hall Park in Lower Manhattan for 3 weeks. So, unfortunately, it seems like this cabal of globalist elites, I mean, it's so corrupt that even though we can see the videotape there, they would still figure out a way to pin this on Avi, whatever.
A lot of people misspell it and say RV, which is funny. Avi?
And pin it on him somehow, even though we can clearly see he's. I mean, okay, I guess we don't have the entire days, whatever, however many hours worth of footage they might have got that day. But in that instance, we can see him. He's following the protesters. They shout at him. He goes up to talk to him. And you can see the little divider. So the guy's like leaning over the fence to get close to him, and Avi's just standing there straight, just holding his ground while the guy is literally yelling in his face, like leaning over the fence. And
yeah, the police know Avi. He was wrongfully arrested last year, so they have to be very careful. The only thing they do when they try to mess with them is like, "Can I see your papers, please?" And because in Australia they do have the state, as in the state where they live, gives out media credentials. So they do check that. That's the only way they can mess with him usually, is they delay him by being like, we have to call our superiors. We have no idea who you are. But all the cops know who he is. He sued him, or Rebel News has sued him, or sued them. He's out there every weekend. The cops know him. Whether they pretend or not, it depends on the given set of police officers. They pushed him down last year. They put him in the back of a van and dropped him 2 towns over, quote unquote, wherever it was before. So they messed with him in the ways that people would mess with people in like the 60s or the 70s, where it's like, we're going to pick you up and drop you off in a neighborhood you've never been to. But at this point, all they do is they really mess with him by checking his paperwork. So they're not just going to go up and believe that he, picked a fight with some guy, because he doesn't do that. He literally just goes, and him being there is triggering enough for a lot of people,
Yeah, he's like less. Now, I don't watch all.
And he's very small,
videos.
by the way, so he's not intimidated. Like, he's in good shape, but I'm pretty sure he's like 5'6". So
Yeah.
No offense,
and he's less, he's less antagonistic than, say, even like I haven't heard from her in a while, but Caitlin Bennett, like, she would go out and like literally like ruffle, not physically, but like
just
corner people.
talk.
Yeah, and he's not even doing that. He's just like I said, they've been trained through whatever mainstream devices to just be triggered at the sight of this guy.
Yeah. All right, let's pay some of the bills, and then we'll close with Fauci being messed up, Eric, because that's a gross story. If you want to sign up for Avi's list, it's YeminiReport.com. And look how he's much bigger beard than that now. Gotham City 2020 on Gotham Unglued, New York City 2020, available on Amazon.com and wherever you buy books, Barnes and Nobles, wherever they sell books in America. I don't know, you don't know, but Barnes and Noble and Amazon are one of them. You can also catch him on the TatumReport.com, just TatumReport.com. Right up there. DHS pays over $455,000 to build new fencing around the president's summer home. Great use of taxpayer funds, Eric. I know you love that. No border wall, though. Not possible. And then my latest episode on rebelnews.com/Andrew_says, or you can go through the shows tab here on rebelnews.com, is with the Ian Miles Chong. He will be triggering people. I guarantee you there will be threads on Reddit where it says, I can't believe Ian Miles Chong said this. He talks about how there should be, a paid blood sport where you can bet on Antifa versus Proud Boys. He says he'd be fine with that. He talked about the YouTube beefs he was in. He talks about Biden. He says he's got Alzheimer's. He talks about Fauci. He talks about the dreaded I word we can't say on YouTube. That's an alternative thing. So that had to be completely cut from YouTube, of course. So we have that. And again, this is our thing right here. Let's go, Brandon. #1 on iTunes if you want to support Bryson Gray. But otherwise, rebelnews.com, tatumreport.com. I digress. Dr. Fauci, Eric, disturbing. This new report. Now, you mentioned this came out a couple weeks, and I'll ask you about that in a second, a couple weeks ago. But I read through this. So Fauci pressed over claims of funding for cruel puppy experiment that locked their heads in cages with sandflies. So this is in Tunisia. I read 2 articles on this yesterday. In Tunisia, they're partially funding research for a medicine. I think it's a bacterial medicine. So what they did is they locked dogs' heads in cages with flies so that the flies could bite them and give them this virus or whatever it is, bacteria, so then they could try to treat the dogs with that. They even cut out some of the dogs' vocal cords so that the scientists and researchers did not have to hear them barking. Not only that, they locked dogs in cages in the deserts for several days, because Tunisia is where they shot Star Wars, by the way, you guys, so it's very desertous. So they locked dogs in there for days so that the flies would bite them and attack them because they're decomposing, I'd imagine, or dying. And then they wanted to treat them with their experimental, whatever it was, vaccine. I shouldn't even say that word. Experimental therapeutics, let's say. Drugs. I don't know. But that's what they were doing. So they're funding it. This one isn't good enough because this is independent. So we'll go somewhere else. Newsweek. And they were beagles. So let's read a bit of this just so we can get some more info.
What's the date on that Newsweek one? Is that?
This is
23rd. That was yesterday.
Yesterday. So bipartisan group of lawmakers, so not all, but mostly Republicans, funding that was provided for experiments on beagle puppies. 24 members of the House of Representatives signed a letter to Fauci, director of NIH or NIAID, part of the NIH. So basically his section of the NIH. Non-profit group White Coat Waste, which was obtained documents under the Freedom of Information Act, spent $1.68 million taxpayer money for experiments on beagles in a lab in Tunisia. The experiments reportedly involved testing drugs in the animals. In some cases, they were debarked through a procedure called a corderectomy. This is a very friendly way to put it, Newsweek. Debarked. They snipped their vocal cords. The lawmakers, led by Nancy Mace of South Carolina, wrote to Fauci. Grave concerns. So yeah, like I said, dogs were between 6 and 8 months old, injecting and force-feeding the puppies with experimental drug before killing and dissecting them. They're really burying the lead here. Newsweek is being very friendly to this, and this is weird. Cordectomy, they're saying. They're not even explaining. There we go. Slitting a dog's vocal cords in order to prevent them from barking, howling, or crying. Really burying that, Newsweek. Cruel procedure, opposed with rare exceptions, American Veterinary Association. Yeah, it's bad. We know. They're not mentioning this stuff. Oh, locking not found cages. There we go. Shame on this top comment here. Shame on you, Newsweek. You left out the portion of the story that states the reason for scientists debarked the puppies. They're placed in cages with sandflies that ate the puppies' heads alive. That's exactly true. I read that on 2 other articles. Shame on Newsweek. So you've just given us a clip here, Newsweek. Newsweek is not reporting the part where the puppies were locked in cages to be eaten alive by flies, locked in that just by the head, locked in cages in the middle of the desert, Eric, so that the flies would eat them alive so that they could test their new drugs on them. We were talking before we went on air. Wouldn't it be crazy if, NIH admitted that they were funding Wuhan, which Fauci allegedly, again, we have to say this, we don't get sued, lied about to Congress when he was shaking his head. He was yelling back and forth with Rand Paul, I believe it was. They admitted that earlier this week.
He was doing his neck roll. Like, no, you're the liar. Yeah.
Now is the thing that might possibly bring him down with a little bit of bipartisan support, mostly Republicans. Animal abuse that he's funding. Is this what's going to take him off CNN, Eric?
Well, no. That would be nice, but it's going to be that would be nice, but it won't happen. And it's very similar to what we saw with Andrew Cuomo, right? The guy, his whole nursing home executive order, shut down, eliminated the entire economy of New York in order to save the most vulnerable, but still killed thousands of the most vulnerable. and it's all backwards. So even if we were in a mildly sane situation, then yes, then fine. If it's torturing puppies that takes Fauci down, fine. It doesn't matter that he's been lying to us for the past 2 years. But here's another thing that, and this is a little bit different, but this article, again from Newsweek that I've pulled up, it's from August 6, 2021, and it says, University defends vaccine test on dogs after Fauci and NIH blasted with criticism. So apparently this is not the same thing, but this one got little to no play. Now, I'll credit where it's due, I guess, to Newsweek for at least publishing this headline. But what I'm understanding here is now it takes 2 instances of Fauci abusing dogs to get a little bit of coverage that still will not have any consequences for him. And he knows that. This man is more invincible, shall we say, than Gavin Newsom.
Here it is, and you're exactly right. August 12th is another time where this was mentioned. So we are 2 months, so 10 weeks from this, and it's making the rounds again. I guess people just decided, and makes it even worse for Newsweek, that this has been around for almost 3 months, and they still couldn't report the facts in the story. Animal rights groups, 400,000 to affected beagles with disease-causing parasites. So what the update, I guess, is, Eric, is they found out that it was even more money, because I think they said over $1 million in the last one. So the story's been updated with more money, and Newsweek still can't get it right, which is kind of gross because of what they're doing. And of course, they had to do it in a place like Tunisia because you wouldn't get away with that here.
Dude, this is it's disgusting, man. And again, I'm not taking anything away from these dogs. You know, I could maybe consider myself like a dog uncle or something. I don't know if I could do it myself, but you know, I'll play with a friend's dog. But that aside, bro, this man has still been torturing the American. I mean, really, the whole world. I don't know how. You know, if you guys are listening to him,
maybe you'll get Christmas.
Well, I didn't say that, and it's like, dude, they think. And
they think you don't have TV. They think you don't have the internet.
TV. Exactly. But we know. I mean, we've said it 100 times. Like we can play the clips of Fauci himself saying that they don't provide the perfect protection. But then you fast forward 6 months and he says, "Well, it makes sense to wear 2 of them." You know,
it's either genius or moronic. Clinton does the same thing. Pelosi does the same thing. Schumer does the same thing, where either it's brilliant of them to just pretend like nobody notices that they've said completely opposite things, or they're so old that they don't think that there's easily obtainable footage of, you know, Joe Biden being racist in the 70s and Jerry Nadler being morbidly obese and saying the opposite, and Chuck Schumer saying the opposite 10 years ago, 15 years ago. Either they know exactly what they're doing or they're old, and it's the same old thing we go over, I feel like, every week, and every person has to deal with it. Are they dumb or evil?
Yep. I think I'm leaning towards evil. That's why they're so old. They're old. They're like they're like movie villains at this point, and they just continue to quite literally, okay, not literally, but you know, they're torturing us. And I don't know if you know about Amazing Polly. She used to be on YouTube and she got kicked off YouTube, but she makes these really in-depth videos, and she made one about what she calls no-touch torture, and it's about how they're forcing you to obey these nonsensical rules. And I mean, it's very similar, and I'm not the first one to make this comparison. I'm sure she's not and won't be the last, to an abusive relationship. Like I used to joke with some of my Instagram friends that Andrew Cuomo was like an abusive husband. He's like, you know, that's my Fauci. I don't know if that's my Fauci impression.
It's all your New Yorkers. Just do it. Just get it over with.
It was like, you know, don't make me hurt you. I don't want to hurt you, but if you don't listen, then, you know, you're going to get the back of the hand. Like, that's what's happening, and people just continue to take it. But shout out to New York. I saw there's a protest once a week now, basically, if not more. They're outside of the Barclays Center earlier today because I believe it was the Nets' first home game, and they're supporting Kyrie, and so shout out to them for sort of standing up. But it's too late. You should have done it when I was doing it, when I got arrested back in May, when I filed the lawsuit back in May of 2020, when everybody was still actually afraid of this thing and not going outside of their house. I was ahead of the curve on that one.
I guess it's wishful thinking CNN is going to take Fauci off their airwaves when they still have the Cuomos that turned out to, they do all their weird, creepy stuff, and Chris Cuomo comes out of his fake basement emergence, and Don Lemon's sexual charges against him, allegations, and Brian Stelter being the most annoying and low. Yeah, Jeffrey Toobin they brought back. I mean, I don't even want to talk about that guy. There's something to be said for forgiveness, I guess he didn't hurt anyone but the people who had to watch that. But he's stupid. I mean, he said Antifa is a mostly black movement. So I guess it's wishful thinking for me to think that CNN would be like, this is what crosses the line. We can't have them on. They can't admit any fault ever, or else the narrative comes crumbling down.
They'll just call you
read this guy's super chat.
They'll call you a conspiracy theorist. That's what'll happen.
Making gains, $2. Fauci's beyond evil. Thank you. It appears this way. He's just a liar, and he doesn't seem to think he's allegedly a liar. He doesn't seem to think that anyone could tell the difference, and that's the problem with these people. This old stock Republican, Democrat, whomever you are, this uniparty, they've been in government and been untouchable for so long that they're just like, yeah, whatever. I don't care if it makes sense or not. If I'm talking, stepping on my own feet when I explain this, nothing's going to happen to me anyway. So who cares? Fund it. I didn't fund it. Who knows what happened? Nothing really happened. Only a few million people died. Doesn't matter. Eric, final word since we're being so positive.
Just put your mask back on and it'll all go away. That's pretty much it.
You should wear 2 masks.
Yeah. And obviously,
it's like a Brita filter. You ever stopped and stacked 2 Brita filters on top of each other? Now it's turning into Frank Costanza. How could Jerry not say hello? Now Elaine, I understand. She's a little, supercilious, but what was my father doing with a man in a cape?
Yo, shout out